Every time you make the contribution and articulations, ask yourself, as part of this generation of economic freedom fighters, how does this action help me to advance the cause of economic freedom in our lifetime?
Okay.
You can answer.
There was the issue that we're not raising issues in Parliament. We are raising them every day. Most of those things are public information with access.
They hate black people who are in what they regard as menial jobs. Then don't listen to the CIC. Listen to them. Listen to what they are saying. This is what Ndombi Mepa said. This is not a garden. It's what she said to you. You were there. So which means that she thinks that people who work in gardens are lowly people beneath her status. She cannot sit with them. And you guys have written today again what Braamfontien said yesterday. He said, referring to the EFF people, the great R's are not here. Big laughter. The whole legislature laughed yesterday. Great R's. What does that mean? It means because these people are dressed as domestic workers who are usually of low education, we must call them great R's. Now that's what happens. I'm a son of a domestic worker, and she was indeed a great R, but she went to school for one day. And this is the kind of insult that we must stomach from these people. We're not going to stand for that.
Yes, people in overalls are capable of thinking and doing everything else. They are complete human beings. And Gauteng leadership is capable of leading, and they are capable of articulating any EFF position and our voter mandate in that legislation. They wrote a letter to the Speaker requesting the Speaker to give them reasons why they should not wear overalls. And that is why they are also taking mandate from our voters. That is why they are prepared to die. That is why, they were beaten by police.
I mean, for me, when to unleash police on colleagues, on members of the legislature. TRT, the same one that killed people in Marigana. She's equally destroying that good stature and image of that house. That a member of legislature can just be assaulted by police for being in a legislature. I think there are parliamentary procedures on how such conduct is dealt with. And calling for intervention of police, it was a direct admission that she has failed to provide leadership. Why do you call police on a parliamentary matter? Remember, in parliament I can even assault you, and it won't go to that level. Parliament has got internal mechanism to deal with it. But in this case, people call police because they can't prevail over that situation. They've got no capacity, political capacity to deal with that. These comrades were not disruptive. They were sitting there. The first contingent of police even admitted that these people are not doing anything illegal, they are not disrupting, they are sitting. What do we do? It had to be the TRT, which has declared itself the enemy of the people, which must use apartheid tactics all the time. There is a political difference. That's what the ANC has become. Using of apartheid tactics to find solution to political differences. And we are warning again. The picture, that's how cowardly he was. It's not it's actually the ANC in the hands of the dogs.
Very soon.
We'll take the second round. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6.
Sir Alexander Brenchen from the French Public Radio. I apologize first, I was late and I didn't hear the beginning of your press conference. I just wanted to come back on the launch of the union, and I apologize if you've already been asked questions. two things. Do you think there's space for a new union? And two, is there any
There's space
plan
for?
a new union? And
A
two,
new union.
a new union.
And this is not forming
Trade union.
Trade union, yes,
Okay.
sorry. And two, are there any plans to cooperate or ally yourself with other unions such as NUMSA or AMCU? Thank you.
Number 2,
I have the same question about the trade unions.
Nick.
First of all,
You're
thanks
not
for
from
the...
where?
Oh, Younger from Power.
Okay.
Sorry, Nicholas Barr from...
Power FM closing down. Are the finances in order?
Nick.
Sorry, Nicholas Barr from EU. You already know me, apparently. Thanks for the compliments, I appreciate it. In any case, the story about the union. Just to add on what our French colleague said there. Any truth to it whatsoever, and ideologically speaking, you look at what NIMS is asking for, you look at what AMCU is asking for, it's pretty similar to what the EFF is asking for. So what would the actual point of the EFF doubling in labour battles be? Would it be a power thing, essentially? And yeah, I mean, is there any truth to it at all? So they're quoting one of your Tshwane members, Eddie Matimba, as saying it's time now for economic emancipation of the proletariat.
Sure.
Where's it coming from? Where are these stories coming from if it's not true?
Sure.
Okay, my name is Mutinga. My question was about the images. This question of I see that you're going to India, you're taking to the airport. My question is whether you're not restricting having your child in position for cases where you're supposed to be dealing with issues where your voters are.
Sure. Then outside.
Okay, in terms of the restructuring, if you could explain to us what necessitated it, especially in the back of the Sowetans report, where you're quoted as saying that you will be crushing your opponents, which some might say it's not a very democratic thing to do if you're going to an elective conference, and reports that some within your organization are saying that you're bringing what you used to be doing in the ANC Youth League to the EFF. What necessitated the restructuring? Is it in response to the infighting that we are hearing for this?
Okay. So.
Just want to find out, in terms of your the intended legal actions, when do you intend to launch the challenges against the conspirators? And what happens to your different NGOs affected by the decisions of the two legislations?
Okay. President.
Well, we are not forming any union, and there is no member of the EFF who has spoken on behalf of the EFF. If there is any of such members who said that, he's not speaking on our behalf, and he's not our member. From that day where he announced decisions on behalf of the EFF without a decision, he has ceased to be a member of the EFF. So he must continue with those unions. So fighters everywhere else, such a character should never be allowed to come anywhere closer to the EFF. No one defines himself outside the EFF and still be defined as an EFF. You don't work like that. You define yourself outside the EFF, you've taken a political decision to operate away from us. So why should we be entertaining such people? We have no time for that. We are working with AMCU. We have no union. We're encouraging our supporters and voters to join AMCU. That is the only union we are supporting, especially in the mining sector. And we are in a process of building the organization. So we can't have our focus diverted all over. That's why even the youth command structure and the women command structure are issues to be attended to later. First, let's form the organization called the EFF. That's where our focus is. That's what we have outlined today. Anything outside that is not part of us. So we are proceeding with the program we've outlined. Those are the things we are busy with now, the ones we have announced now. Any other thing is not us. That's why we're busy with the courts, we're busy with the launching branches, we're busy with the anniversary, we're busy with launching our book. Those are our programs. Anything we have not announced yet, it's not part of us. So the trade union, we're getting too much pressure ourselves in our own structures, members demanding that we must form a trade union. And we are telling them, let's all relax. Let's focus on building the organization first. Because if you become too busy with so many things, you end up being busy over nothing. So we need a focused leadership. There is a room for a strong union in South Africa because the existing unions have collapsed, including COSATU. So there is a need for a strong federation, radical and militant and unashamedly represent the workers. There's a room for that. And that's why AMCU is doing so well, because there's that space in the mining sector. NUM has died a natural death. They are no longer a union. They are a corporate company. They are engaged in investment and partnership with mining companies. It's a reality. They can't deny that. And that's why workers felt this is no longer representing what we want as the cause. How can we be preoccupied with the cause? Because we're not the ones who are going to those things. We hire lawyers who are not even in the structures to be busy with those things there. And then we concentrate with what we do better, politics. So we won a case here about that IEC Takul. We're never there. We never went to court. We also heard from the media that we've won. And then we proceeded. We're not there. We just gave the lawyers a briefing. This is what we want, and that's it. We left. The lawyers continued with the case. Sometimes we'll even get remanded by the media. Are you proceeding with your case on Wednesday? Yes, by the way, yes. So we're not busy with those things of the court. We assign lawyers, they deal with them. And we concentrate on our work. So it's not like we're physically going to be removed from parliament to be frequenting courts like Terra used to do with those people. No, we don't do those things. We don't go to court.
Crushing people.
Yeah, look, when we formed the EFF, we accepted everybody that came and said they want to be part. We literally didn't know each other's names and surnames and where these people come from and all those type of things. And we said we are forming an alternative which will deal with the tendency, especially tendencies that are happening in the ruling party, of factionalism, of right-wing politics, of careerism, and all those type of things. And there were elements that came to join us driven by their own individual selfish interest. Some of them were not even ashamed to say, no, I want to be what. And we get so shocked because we don't come from such culture where a person says, I want to be what, I want to be what. And we said, it looks like we've attracted even wrong elements. And because we're during the election campaign, we said, let's focus on elections. We'll come and clean the house and put proper structures which will focus on the building of the organization. We came back, we said we need smaller teams. They must operate like a corps. It must not be a permanent rally. So we chose from amongst many members we have, the best of the best. And then we isolated opportunists. We isolated disruptors. And when they come to the media, I often celebrate because they prove us right, that we were right. These are uncontrollable people who are suffering from uncontrollable ambition for power. When we appointed them, they never went to Sowetan and said, we're being appointed here, we don't know for what reason. But when they get removed, they go to Soweto and say, we are being removed here, we don't know why. We said to you, members of the media, we traveled this journey together, we said, we have put temporary structures, people who are appointed to help us build the organization. You must underline that, to help us. Fella, we are the ones who are building, who are forming an organization. We call people to come help us. If you are not helping us, the door is open. We want people who are going to help us. So why should we keep you if you are not helping us? The door is open. And we're not crushing people. You see, you are putting it wrongly.
It was a
No, Sowetan wrote it very nice. Where is that Sowetan lady? She wrote exactly what we said. We said we're going to crush disruptors. She wrote it in the Sowetan, it was there. We're going to crush disruptors and infiltrators. That we are not apologetic about. We can't crush people, we defend people. We fight for the people. Anyone else in the EFF is allowed to raise any issue anyhow. But the media is not the platform. The guidelines adopted by the leadership on how we are going to go to the National Assembly, they are very clear. That no one can pay for anyone in the media or the social media. No one does t-shirts. We are going to, from this press conference, we'll publish those guidelines on the website. They are public. We don't want people who bring wrong tendencies in the EFF. We have no room for such people. But remember that I was a project of, I was part of the leadership deployed to destroy COPE. I was in that project. And I know the tactics. And I know and I can see when that tendency emerges. I know how the ruling party operates. I was part of the core underground team that dismantled COPE, especially towards its national conference. I know what tactics they use. I know the type of resources they use. I know the type of language that gets used by those who are deployed inside. So we know how to isolate an infiltrator. We know how to isolate a disruptor. You know, people who are speaking in the media, they've got no respect for women and the minorities. Some of them directly just say, we're not going to be led here by a color and white. We're fighting whites here. And we're like, hey, which EFF is this one of fighting whites? Because ours is not part of such things. Call women with a private parts when they disagree with them. We can't have such elements amongst us. We are going to refuse to accommodate such tendencies. The sexist and racist disruptors who have no regard for organizational processes, protocols and procedures. I'm sorry, my sister, they can come to you many times. We really don't care. I mean, we can't have such people amongst us. They say I'm bringing the things I was doing in the youth league in the EFF. Exactly. Exactly. I'm bringing that. Oh. This nationalization agree I came with it. There's nothing wrong I was doing in the youth league. I'm continuing with it. Land, I come with it from the youth league. Decisiveness, we come with it from the youth league. The experience on building the organization and fighting successful campaigns, I bring that experience from the youth league. The fearless character, speaking truth to power, I come with that from the youth league. I'm not anything outside the youth league. I was produced by the ANC Youth League. And I'm still very proud of the ANC Youth League. Remember, we were never expelled by the ANC Youth League. We were expelled by some process of people who don't know what is an ANC Youth League. Our politics are informed by uncompromising radical and militant politics of the founding generation of the ANC Youth League. And that's why in our articulation everywhere, we speak about Lembede, Epimda, Mkolis Majombozi, Walter Sisulu, O.R. Tambo, Nelson Mandela, proudly, because that is a generation which continues to inspire us. In everything else we do, we seek to be like the first generation of the ANC Youth League. They said freedom in our lifetime, inspired by them who are saying economic freedom in our lifetime. So tell those people, because you've got access to them, that I'm very proud of the Youth League, because what I did in the Youth League is what informed the formation of the EFF. So we are not ashamed. The conferences of EFF are open for contestation. Everybody from the position of the president to the last additional member of a branch command team, they are contested. In the national and the provincial conferences, elections are going to be conducted by an independent electoral committee. ASA or something like that will be employed to come and conduct free and fair elections. So we have no problem. We remain unshaken. We are not threatened. There is nothing. The leadership of the EFF National is united and solid like a rock. And none of those people can infiltrate this leadership. There is not going to be bargaining of leadership positions here. People must earn their leadership positions through their hard work and not factionalism. Branches must know that you are one of the best, you work very hard for this organization and elect you. We're not going to go into some arrangement. We don't work like that. People must be voted by the members of the EFF. So we're going into this conference very clear, our conscience is very clear, we're building an organization. Even if we don't get elected, we're fine. Because we're not here for position. There was the founder of the ANC, was elected a fifth president, Big Slick Isaka Sen. He formed the ANC, was at the forefront of the formation of the ANC, but he was not elected the first president. He became the fifth president of the ANC. So there's no problem. We learn from such experiences that it's not always those who form organizations who come to lead those organizations. Kaspedi ba re motho wa o tlhaolela mohlare a se ena tlo gorelang moriti wa mohlare oo. Tsamao tsena ka mofasa mohlare o clean o nagana gore wena o tlo nna mola moriti wa mohlare wa o kgarametše ba reng moriti o tla gorela ke rena. There's no problem. We learn from those things and we proceed like that. So, but I can guarantee you, like we've always done in our previous political activities, this is going to be the most peaceful and successful conference. That you can be guaranteed. When we got elected in Mangaung, in the Restructuring conference, we only said one thing. I don't know if Kefas was there. I don't know who was there in Mangaung. The first press conference we had in Mangaung at the hotel. We said to you that if the ANC affirms the outcome of this leadership and give it an opportunity to organize the second leg of the Youth League conference to complete its business and elect other additional members, that conference will be the most successful conference. And it became exactly that. Went to the second leg in Nazareth. There was never disruption or taking off of clothes and all that, because we were given that responsibility to organize. The taking off clothes in Mangaung, it was not us. We were not organizing that conference. It was Mbalula and Sitese Galala who were responsible for it. We organized the second leg in Nazareth. It became the best. We organized the 2011. For sure, all of you, that time, for sure, you were now journalists. Maybe you were not journalists there. In Galaga, I don't know if you were there, Nicholas. In Galaga, it became one of the most successful conferences. Peaceful, elected its leadership, despite the fact that people were saying, hey, there's going to be a huge fight, Maile versus Malema, that there's going to be a showdown, that conference is going to collapse. I can tell you, we've got a very huge experience. Some of us might appear young, but we've got a huge experience in organizing political gatherings. Successful, peaceful political gatherings. But the last point I want to make, and I want to warn this ANC government, the continuation to remove EFF from legislature through wrong rulings will cause an instability in this province of Gauteng. We'll fight. We're not only relying on the courts, we'll fight. And there are no roses in a fight. They must never undermine us and take us for granted and think we're kids. We've got the ability to mobilize our people and fight these people. Physical fight. No one undermines a democratic outcome and we sit back and allow that. We contested elections and were voted for by almost 500,000 voters in this province. We'll bring them in this Johannesburg city and you'll know what will happen in this city. We're not scared of anything. We've got the mandate of our people and no one should play with that mandate. And we're not going to sit back and allow a situation where the mandate of our people is undermined through undemocratic method. If that is going to be the order of the day, so be it. We're going to fight. We are warning them, we're going to fight. We're not kids. We must never be treated like kids. We will bring our voters into this city. And the ANC will know who we are. We're warning them. They must never take us for granted. They must never push us to a point where we'll unleash the power of the masses. We'll unleash it. The ANC is not in charge of Gauteng. The ANC won Gauteng through shenanigans. They know very well that they do not command support yet. They are not a ruling party through the voice of the people. We respected that outcome and said there are no perfect elections. But they must never push us. They must never push us because we've got the capacity to fight. We're not scared of prison, neither are we scared of death. That's why 8 as they were, they put up a fight against the murderous police force. Because they are fighters. So we'll bring a lot of our people to that legislature. Ntombi Mekwe must know that we're not a playground. We're not small boys and girls to be taken for granted. She's nothing. She must know she's nothing to us. Nothing at all. And we don't take her serious. She's there by default. She's there because we love this country. We refused to dispute the outcomes of elections even when we knew that those outcomes were fraudulent. Corrupt, fraudulent leadership of Gauteng government must never push us. The ANC has lost in a big way in this province and must stop behaving arrogantly if they are enjoying the overwhelming support of the people of Gauteng. They don't. So We are being peaceful, and we are following every little piece of legislation to fight a dignified battle. But if they continue to treat the democratic process, the ANC must not disrupt this country in our name, because they're effectively disrupting it. The voters of the EFF out there are very angry with what is happening in that legislature, because they said to us, "We have sent you there. Now you are being ill-treated. We are not employed by the ANC. We are not working for the ANC. The ANC has got no say in what we are doing. They had that opportunity, they played with it. They've got no say. They can't tell us what to do and not to do. So they must respect us, we'll respect them. We are not going to be ill-treated as if we are school kids. They can call us all sorts of names in Parliament, it's allowed there. But once you translate that practical and want to translate those debates in Parliament into action and treat us the same way you say in Parliament, then that's an invitation for something else. They do that because they undermine these comrades. They undermine this leadership of Gauteng. Why are they not doing that in Limpopo? Why are they not doing that in Northwest? In KwaZulu-Natal, in Helen Zile's province of Western Cape? Helen representing interest of colonial masters. She was supposed to be the one in the forefront of rejecting overalls, because she's a direct representative of colonialism. But she has not done that. Why? The ANC, which claims to be a representative of the left, representative of the workers and the working class, rejects the clothes of the workers and beats people up for wearing workers' clothes. These people were beaten for wearing overalls. They were not beaten for anything. They were beaten for